It's time now for the award-winning #1 local talk show in Northeast Pennsylvania, The Sam Lesante Show. Now here's your host, Sam Lesante.
Welcome, everyone, to the Mayor's Report. Now, this is the Mayor's Report from Pottsville. Now, you know, we started the Mayor's Report in Hazleton with Mayor Jeff Cassat, and I got to tell you, the first show was absolutely fantastic. A lot of information that we brought to the area in Hazleton and what's happening with the transit authority there. And, of course, you know, Dave Clews, who's the mayor here, has been on for a while doing the monthly reports, filling us in what's happening in the greater Pottsville area as well as the surrounding communities. So anyway, did you use, I got to brag about the Cuck's turkey. I mean, we had for Thanksgiving the Cuck's turkey, which is, there's nothing better than a Cuck's turkey. What did you have, even though you're a turkey yourself? I mean, what did you have?
Yeah, of course we had turkey, you know, got to spend it with my son and daughter and all my grandchildren. Always a good time. Look forward to the holidays, and you know, just a nice day.
What's your typical, like, what did you do for the day? You watch games, or?
We'll watch a game. You know, all of my grandchildren are into sports one way or the other, so you know, we'll talk about that. I usually try and catch up. You know, my daughter's down in the Lansdale area, so I don't get to see her that often. You know, with the kids keeping her busy and stuff. So it's kind of time to catch up with them, you know, abuse my grandsons for a while and sit down to a good meal with a couple of beverages.
That's always a good thing. I think everyone always, you know, sometimes people have their families are away and they can't get together, but at least they communicate, etc. It's a fun time because you have to appreciate, I guess, what you have in life, huh?
Oh, absolutely. You know, I've become more attuned to those things over the things that I've gone through with my heart and so on over the years, realizing that how precious family actually is, and we all need to be a little more thankful.
I think you're right. You know, you know, I just mentioned, you know, we started doing your friend Mayor Cassat, the Mayor's Report, and incidentally, if there's any mayors in Shenandoah, Freeland, or whatever you'd like to do the report, give me a call. I'll give you the details. And it went very well. So
you should have Jeff and I on together.
That'd be good. But then, will I get a chance to talk?
No, that's the idea.
I see. City Hall, okay, so let's talk about what's happening at City Hall and the Christmas light, as you said, debacle. What's that all about?
Well, you know, I ran a very successful campaign as the new mayor to fund some Christmas lights here in town. The old lights were 25 years old and, to be quite honest, pretty tired. So, you know, rather than build that into a parks line item in the city budget, I decided that, you know, I'd personally reach out to business people and, you know, the community as a whole and ask them to help us raise about $35,000 for new Christmas lights. Well, they all came through. We raised closer to $45,000 for Christmas lights. You know, it was a real personal project for me as the new mayor to reach out to those people, and you know, they really stepped up, and was looking forward to, you know, the Wednesday before Thanksgiving being able to stand in the middle of Center Street looking down at a finished project that would make everybody happy. Well, what happened was when the lights came in, $45,000 worth of lights, all defective. My street department started to mount them. And they were an aluminum structure that apparently in the rush to get an order out did some rather shoddy workmanship on the welds, and they ended up on a breezy day snapping right off the poles. So as we inspected and found out we've got a bad shipment, we got a hold of the supplier and the salesman, and it was a conversation that used up a lot of my quarter in the jar words. Yeah. And that was on Tuesday. On Wednesday, the CEO of the company and the salesman showed up at City Hall because they realized, you know, what a huge mistake and in my case, a huge embarrassment.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
You know, to raise all that money and then not have it happen. which I made perfectly clear to their CEO that this was a, from the heart project, made it clear this is my hometown. I was very proud of how everybody stepped up. Personal notes to them all, handwritten thank you notes, to let people know how much I appreciate it. And now I'm kind of standing with egg on my face looking at old Christmas lights. Well, they also understood this company provides us with hometown hero banners. Well, we were one of the first in the county to put those up.
Yeah, very nice.
And
too.
when every other little borough and city started calling us going, hey, they're beautiful,
Yep.
where'd you get them?
Yep.
And it happened to be from this lighting company also. They realized that, Pottsville is the center of the county, and we are the county seat here. We're the biggest town in the county, and we, influence others around us. We like to think we're, kind of
Absolutely.
in the lead.
Yeah.
So they realized what an important customer we could be. What they ended up doing was, of course, they're replacing the lights for next year. They will inspect them all before they ship them. We'll inspect them again when they get here. And these lights were like a little over $900 a light. They are providing us with 15 additional lights at no charge. They sent us to use this year some light up sleighs, Santas, snowmen to be placed around town to kind of ease the pain, if you will.
Yeah.
And they sent us 100 LED light strips for businesses. The Business Association had a meeting the day after we found this out, and I went because I wanted to have them hear it come from me, not a press release. And I told them all what happened, explained where we were going with it. At that time, I really didn't know that they were going to step up the way they stepped up, giving us lights. But I asked all my fellow business people, I said, do me one favor this year, and that's buy one extra strand of lights to put up in your business. Help me light it up a little more.
Yeah.
And they were all, more than on board with that plan. And then to be able to turn around and say, I've got 100 sets of lights I can give out around this, to businesses to, not have them reach in their pockets.
Yeah.
Which I plan on doing when we're done our interview, walking around and giving some out. Joe Drazen, the president of the Business Association, is going to join me. So we're making some lemonade out of the lemons that we got. That's,
I wouldn't expect anything less from you, Dave. Yeah, and Drastis, I mean, and first of all, he has a fabulous place. If you need any shirts or custom-made suits or whatever, you go to Drastis. They're fantastic. But I know your heart was in it 100%, and boy, that must have been. I mean, your heart's taking a beating away. It didn't need this other.
I didn't need
another shock, Well, but there'll be lights, right?
There'll be lights. Like I said, we have the old lights up, which. And unfortunately, Mechanicsville, our neighboring little borough here, had asked us when they, found out about our fundraiser and getting new lights, what we were going to do with the old ones. They offered to purchase them. I said, I really can't ask you to pay for 25-year-old lights. We'll be more than happy to donate as many as you'd like. With the understanding it's an as-is deal, and you guys can fix them up. So they're going to have to wait another year or two.
But you have lights, right?
Yep. We do have lights. The old lights are up.
Okay, all right. And plus you have the additional stuff that they sent.
And we have the additional stuff they sent. I'm waiting to find out. The one thing that made it, besides the lights that go on the poles, we had like the swags that hang across the street. One of those shipped late. I believe it's out at the city garage, and I'm hoping we can at least hang that up too, so people get an idea of what we're going to add going forward in lights to downtown Pottsville.
Did they say what happened to these lights, the new lights?
They kind of, it was twofold. One was that the lights compared to the demo piece that they sent us were about, I'm going to say 10 inches longer, which added to the stress on the light. And then the best they could figure out when they looked at the workmanship was this was we need to get this order out. That's one. We need to get this order out, and they did a really schlocky job of it.
We're talking to the mayor. He's being paged right now. We're going to take a break. Welcome back to the Sam Lesante Show, folks, the Mayor's Report. We're here at the Majestic Theater in downtown Hazleton. Normally when we're doing the Mayor's Show, we're in his office, and we were discussing things when you got that emergency call from at home and said, make sure you bring some milk home tonight. So, so it wrapped up. Okay, now I want to ask one question before we move into the budget. When you say $900 a light, you're not talking about a little light like this.
No, I'm talking about the full fixture.
Oh, okay. Because I'm thinking,
around the pole.
Okay,
they're really good, good lights.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, but they're the big fixture that comes. Okay, but you'll have lights. You'll have at least it'll be presentable. I know you make sure it's the best. Moving on, it's the city. It's called a budget. You know what that is?
Yeah, I do. I spend enough time working on them.
Where were we at with the budget?
Well, you know, we're in good shape this year, Sam. I got to say that we'll be doing our first reading shortly of our 2024 budget. I'm glad to be able to tell the people of Pottsville they don't have to be looking for an increase coming this year. You know, which is always our ultimate goal, but sometimes, you know, the cost of things are going up. So we all see it in our personal lives, you know, from fuel and food costs. Well, just about anything you're purchasing today costs more this year than last year. And that's the same for the city too. So it took some work. You know, we often talk about the composition of City Hall and City Council, and you know, the Republican and Democratic mix, and I really have to say that that really did not come into this year's budget. Every department had to look and say, what can I do that we're not asking our citizens to pay more?
Isn't that great that it works that way?
It really is. And I'll use, you know, as mayor, I'm in charge of the police department and code department, and we wanted to add to our police force department-wise due to retirement and some officers taking other positions. So we had a number there that the chief really wanted to have. And of course, everybody always talks about, you know, getting streets paved and potholes and, you know, all the things that go along with the street department. And they also wanted to add to their staff. And between just those two departments, we came up with a compromise that you know, helped keep our city budget in line, where the street department is not going to get the extra help they were hoping for, but they're still fully staffed. They were just looking to, you know, add some more to take care of the jobs that summer jobs. High school kids no longer want to come out and, you know, cut grass for the summer and make some extra dollars, so we've had to, you know, kind of do more of that in-house, and they would like extra help for that. And of course, every police department would like to add, you know, to their staff. So between just those two, them conceding a worker allowed us to pick up an officer that we would have had to cut. So it was that kind of working together and looking at all the different things that are happening in City Hall and making the adjustments so we could sit back and say, we did it, we made a budget up that will keep us from increasing taxes.
Dave, as the mayor, you know, you're going your second year, right?
Yeah, I'm going into my third.
This is your end of your third.
This is the end of my second.
Second, so you're coming. How do you see things as, you know, if you, in review, looking at the city of Pottsville and what you've accomplished and, you know, your crew and everyone at City Hall?
You know, I've seen a change in City Hall. There's a, you know, camaraderie amongst the departments. I think there's always been, but you know, you know me, Sam. I can't make it through a meeting without trying to add a little lightheartedness to it.
Sure, exactly.
We have a serious job to do. You know, we all give up our time on council to serve our city, and I truly believe everybody that sits at that front table, from council to the other administrative positions, really do it for the betterment of their hometown. That's why I became mayor. This is my hometown, and I still believe we have a lot of good here. I think a lot of people move here because it's still small town pride.
Yes.
It's still,
So
small
important,
town
yeah.
safe.
Yep.
So I think there's a real camaraderie. We can sit back and we can have our Democrat and Republican jokes amongst each other. Unlike our friends in D.C. that seem to want to take that to war. We have a friendly game back and forth that ends up being
And that's healthy.
for the good.
It's
Absolutely.
It's healthy. It's because you bring both sides together, and it's healthy. But I think the people in the city and also in the county have reacted to who they want to put in office, and they like the direction you're going to. Now, anything else on the budget before I move into security?
No, it's you can't get past good news when we're not increasing anything. That's probably as good a news as you can make out of a budget.
As long as the services stay there and they're not hurting the city, you could take some fat off, but when it gets into cutting into the bone, then you have a problem.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So now we have this new security. So let's talk about that.
In today's age, the old ways of come on in and walk around the building just isn't a good practice.
I know.
And we've done that for years, and we still want to maintain that friendly atmosphere and welcoming atmosphere. But what we have done is we've gone to a new and improved security system. All the employees now have ID tags, so they're easily identifiable. They will in the future be used to open some of the doors in City Hall. They'll be securely locked without your ID. Even I wouldn't be able to get into the building. And it's all for safety of the employees and the public too. We have a lot of people constantly in and out of City Hall. The last thing we need is somebody in paying a tax bill or talking to the fire chief or police chief, and have somebody you really don't want come into the building with the problems that happen today in society.
Do you get a lot of people off the street to come in and want to talk to you or the police chief, or you get a lot of that, or sporadically?
It's sporadic. I would say, for me, most of the time they call me and set an appointment because I'm not there, as a full-time job. I'm there. I've been in just about every morning of the week. I'm there for a couple of hours in what I like to call the war room, where different department heads come in and I get informed on what's going on for the day, what's happening where, and try and head things off at the pass. So it's pretty frequent, between the general citizens, news reporters that come in, sometimes looking for stories and just want to hang out. There's things like that we're trying to just get a better handle on and control for everybody's good.
Sometimes, and my friends, if you have any questions that you'd like to ask either mayor, we're doing the mayor's report now in Hazleton with Mayor Jeff Cassat, and of course we've been on with Mayor Clews for a while. But if you have any questions that you'd like me to ask them, please email me at sam@ssptv.com, and I'll be more than happy to bring it up at, we tape once a month. What are some of the common questions that when you're talking to the citizens?
The biggest thing I usually get is usually regarding neighborhood conditions. Blighted properties is a big thing. I get some parking issues on occasion. I usually pass that off to the parking authority and let them clean up their own issues. Most of the time it goes right to just neighborhood conditions, whether it's trouble that's occurring in the neighborhood. A lot of people like to come to me instead of going to a police chief and say, hey, I know in my block such and such a house, it appears to have drug activity happening. Which I just pass on to the police force. But some people are just more comfortable talking to me than the police chief.
We're going to take a break. I want to come back and talk about blight, okay, and what you're doing about blight. Talking to Mayor Dave Clews, the Mayor's Report, my friend, ssptv.com. And once again, very happy to have the media sponsors pick up all of the news of the Republican Herald here in Pottsville, and of course the Standard Speaker. Our media partners, they have all the information you need every day. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back to the Sam Lesante Show, the Mayor's Report, Pottsville. Mayor Clews talked about the light debacle, etc. You know, the show was seen many, many times. So blight is always a concern, Dave. What's happening with the city with blight?
You know, it is a city problem here. It's a problem in a lot of small towns. I'm sure Hazelton has the same thing. Yeah, the biggest problem we have there, Sam, is we have out-of-town property owners that are renting property out at rates that I think are a little on the crazy side, and then they're not providing good living conditions for those that are renting it. And most of these people that have come here and found these apartments have come here because they heard about Pottsville. We see a lot of people from the city, whether that's New York, Philadelphia, you know, the bigger cities, who either came from or remember small town life. And we still have that here. You know, we don't have the issues that a New York or a Philadelphia has. We're much more, you know, small town. And there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, I think it's pretty special. But these people come here with that image and then find out that their landlord doesn't live here. The property that they're renting is in really bad shape. Now we have to chase down that property owner to try and, you know, make things right for the people that are here. And they can be very difficult to reach, if at all. They've played the process enough because we go in, tell them what's wrong, we give them so long to fix it, usually in a 30-day period. And if they don't fix it by then we issue them a citation to get it fixed, which has dollars attached to it, hopefully to motivate the process. And if they don't do anything at that point, now it goes to the magistrate, which is usually another 30 days. And sometimes, you know, because of scheduling, they'll reschedule. Now we got 90 days into it, and nothing has happened yet. And everybody's frustrated. We're frustrated because the property, you know, is in a bad condition. The people are paying rent, and in some cases in absolutely deplorable conditions.
And you can't go on their property and do anything because then you're trespassing.
Right.
Okay. So some people say, why doesn't the city go in there and just cut the grass or do this? Okay, it's not as easy as it sounds.
And that's true. And in some cases we actually do that when it gets that bad. That we have to go in and we cut the grass, and then we send the property owner a bill for it. Of course, good luck getting paid for that because they haven't kept up their property. And the vicious circle continues. And then you get to that point where how much does the city do of this? Because when we're doing that for a property owner, eventually it trickles down to all our other citizens because we have to pay for that, you know, that guy's time, all the money that goes into it. It may be the most frustrating part of being mayor.
Well, listen, I hope you have a great holiday. Okay, hopefully we'll get a taping in before Christmas. If not, you know, it's always a pleasure doing the show with you, and stay healthy. Okay.
Sure, Sam. You know, it's always important at this time of year. Family is incredibly important. I had a staff meeting the other day, and I turned to them all before I left, and this was right before Thanksgiving. I said to them, you know what? Remember something. I think of you as all family. Family's important.
Yep.
Not always going to be here with us. Treasure this time, and God bless you all.
That's right. I couldn't agree with you more. Remember, if you have any comments that you'd like me to ask either Mayor Cassatt or Mayor Clews, sam@ssptv.com. We'll see you next time.